Hey everyone, and welcome to the second tutorial video on making a BSP and custom multiplayer map for Halo Custom Edition. So today I'm going to be demonstrating how you make a BSP. I'm not going to show you everything, obviously there's a learning experience. I expect you people to be able to design your own BSPs, but I will be showing the basics just of making a BSP. So to begin with, of course, we're naturally going to have to draw a box and convert it to show each basis and convert it to a editable mesh as shown in the previous tutorial. Now the next step, which is always very important, the first thing I do whenever I'm making a BSP is I select box and I flip it as shown in the previous tutorial once again, and that gives me the area that the map will be. Well, this is the map, but this is the enclosed space of the map. That will be the sky, ground, etc, etc. Notice that the entire box is enclosed, as I said in the previous tutorial. If the map is not entirely enclosed, then it will cause errors when compiling. For example, if this space here was to be missing like this, you would have an open face error and the map would not compile. So make sure that whatever you're doing, all faces are always enclosed so that there are no gaps for the light to escape. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing in this particular tutorial is demonstrating how to create corridors. So I'm going to set tessellate to 0 and I'm going to tessellate this side here. I tessellate a few times until I have a nice area in the center where I'm going to put a doorway. So I select the 8 triangles that the doorway is going to be fitted inside, and then I'm going to be using the extrude tool to make a corridor. As you can see, the corridor is now completed. A lot of Forerunner structures in Halo Custom Edition will have beveled shapes in them, so I'm going to bevel the end of this corridor. As shown in the previous tutorial, you simply click and drag like that, and then you can choose whether you want it to be larger or smaller. I'm going to choose smaller. That is how you create a basic corridor. I'm not going to be making this an artificial map, a natural map, where you have things like cliff walls and stuff, because that will very often cause errors when compiling and result in having to spend quite a while patching up the cliff walls. I recommend that in your maps you do not use natural structures for your first map, as it will greatly reduce the amount of time you have to spend fixing up problems. So that's the basic idea of making a BSP. You want the entire area to be enclosed, and you want to make it fairly interesting, so I have a corridor there. Maybe I may wish to have a raised area in the center, so once again I would tessellate the entire area. Now as you can see, the tessellation has resulted in a rather strange shape like this. If you wish to have smaller areas, I'd recommend highlighting the entire thing using 0 and then tessellating it so that the entire thing has been tessellated all at once, meaning they'll all be like this with the triangles and the squares, rather than this. This can cause problems later on because you cannot get the shape you want. So I'm going to go and raise the corner here. As you can see, I now have a small plateau. Now, you may wish to make a large or small map. Keep in mind that medium-sized maps work best for multiplayer, as the characters do not have to walk very far to find other characters, and combat ensues as a result rather quickly, resulting in a reasonably exciting map experience. However, with larger maps where the players have to walk a very long distance, if you do not have vehicles, this will result in rather long and tedious games. So this map here, for example, is a very small map. When making multiplayer maps, it's also very important to make sure that there are bases. For example, if you wish to do a capture the flag map, you will want to have multiple bases for the players to spawn at, keep their flags, visit the opponent's base to capture their flags, etc, etc. This does not necessarily just have to be in capture the flag scenarios. Slayer can also be in a multiplayer team environment where there are 2 teams with 2 separate bases. So keep that in mind when making your BSP to have 2 areas for separate bases. Another important part of a BSP is the sky. Not all BSPs will have sky, yours may not. However, sky is a very good way of getting light into the map, so I'll demonstrate an important part of sky, which is making a sky box of sorts, whereas you may wish to heighten the sky on a map. Simply by extruding it, I now have an entire area where the sky can reside. I may wish to extend areas of this map to make it look a little bit less artificial. When selecting items inside a BSP, it's a good idea to make sure that you are selecting the faces that you want. When you have your BSP flipped, chances are you may select a face that you did not wish to select. So the best way to select faces is to actually zoom right into this inside of the BSP, and that way you can ensure that you are in fact selecting the faces you want to select. And I've selected the faces I want to select now. Now I want to deselect these two faces here so that I can extrude the BSP in the method that I want. Okay. There we go. As you can see, I'm having difficulty right now selecting the right faces because I was zoomed out. This is why it is important to zoom in when selecting faces. As you can see now, from the player's perspective, it will appear as though the sky does not abruptly begin on all four sides of the wall, and the wall actually does taper outwards. I believe I've shown you enough in this tutorial to get you started on making your BSP. I will now demonstrate the BSP that I have created. Note that this BSP has been fully textured. As you can see, I have made a small BSP map with two bases, a red base and a blue base, centered around an open dueling area with a sky box, so that perhaps I may wish to have a teleporter on the top of here, and the player will actually be able to jump up and down rather than being stuck under a very, very low ceiling. This box in the corner here is a frame. I will demonstrate how to use that later. That is the end of this tutorial.